Okay, here we have a video today where we're going to go over some various sort of shoulder drills and exercises to prepare you for a shoulder press. So prior to doing any strengthening exercise, you need to determine if you have the ability to get your arms overhead. So Nathan here is doing a simple thoracic extension drill, and we're just seeing if he can get his hands over his head without his elbows or his wrists coming off the floor. You can sort of see he's a bit tight through the right pec there. He can't get that right elbow down. And, you know, with a bit of work, he's going to be able to loosen that up. Next thing we want to look at is the thoracic mobility. All right, so he's going to rotate he's going to go on his hands and knees. And we're going to look at so that's the first test was thoracic extension. This one's thoracic rotation. If there's a problem at either one of these, he's really going to struggle to get good activation of his muscles when he does a shoulder press. So he's not too bad on that. The extension, he just needs a bit of work. All right, so we'll get him back to do the extension while we have a look at what follows up after that. So I've got Mel here who's going to show us how to do the wall slides, and the wall slides is another activation drill for getting the arms overhead. This is where we start to see the role of the scapula moving in assisting the arms to get in that correct position where we don't see the upper traps around the neck really kick in, and that's where you see shoulder impingements. So this is an exercise we use a lot in early stages of rehabilitation and getting function back of that arms overhead. Very, very simple exercise, but surprisingly difficult when there's dysfunction present. So this one would be a good one. If there's problems here, this is where we stop. Same with the ones we saw with Nathan. If there's problems there, that's where we stop. All right, now we go, let's say we've progressed from that. We go back to Nathan. Now we're going to introduce some overhead stuff. We're going to start with one dumbbell. And we've got the dumbbell in a neutral position. So neutral position means that, so Nathan's got the head of the dumbbell facing me. If he was pronating it, so pronate, that position there is okay if there's nothing wrong. But if you've got a shoulder impingement, this will actually contribute to pinching it at the top of the shoulder there. So when we go neutral, it sort of frees up the space there and allows him to get a better rotation and freedom through the shoulder. And then we'll encourage his legs to help out his arm, and we'll get that little twisting action at the top. So he has the ability to get it overhead without any potential stiffness getting in the way. And with enough practice, he can become really good at that. So once he sort of gets the hang of that, then we can introduce two dumbbells. And we can go within the pronated grip, and then again incorporating the squat into it. All right, so this is another great way to sort of lead to something harder. Now, if he has problems with this, he just goes back, or the alternative is where we might use what Mel's going to show you here. And this is more of a kneeling one, and this again takes out the complication of the legs, and we start to really get the feeling of what she was just doing with the wall slides, into where she can really focus on that one arm, because sometimes it's one arm that's the problem. The other side's great, but one side's just not working well. And the kneeling position really allows her to fully extend and reach up overhead, but it's not straight overhead. It's sort of a bit more of an angle. If you sort of see on the side here, it's not dead straight, and she's moving her hips forward as she comes up. See that? And she can really get good stiffness through her entire body. All right, so that's a great alternative to that. If we go back to Nathan, Nathan's going to grab a kettlebell. Now, this kettlebell one, arguably it's the hardest of them all, but I might precede this before the military press, the barbell one, just because I would prefer to see stabilising work before strength. All right, so this kettlebell with it upside down like that really forces a lot of work through the wrist, elbow and shoulder for him to be able to perform the movement. If he doesn't stabilise well, he can't do it. So we compromise load for stability, which is always the better choice. All right, so like I said, though, arguably it's the harder exercise. So he would do a few on each side, and with good form. You can see again he's got that hand forward, not pronated. If he pronates it, you'll lose stability on it. See how that instantly changes things, because it leads to a bit of an impingement. All right, so if he can complete that, then I don't mind moving to the next one where we go with the shoulder press, which is the military press most people are familiar with. And you can see before, this is a lot harder, and even with Mel, this is a 20 kilo barbell. You know, she won't get a lot of reps out before we start to see issues around the neck and the shoulder. Big problem with this is with the head poking forward on this one. So she's doing a really good job to keep it quite neutral. If she wanted to add a squat to it, she could do a squat. She could use a bit of a push press. She's done. All right, so we'll let her rack it. All right, but you can see that's the hardest one of all of the versions of the shoulder press there. But all of these drills and exercises that we just shown you are a great way to learn how to get to this last one, because the last one is the one that gives us all the problems of the neck and shoulder. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. See you on our next one.